No, mic is good. Desktop is fine. Make sure we're up and running. Okay. We are indeed up and running. Alrighty. So, what is it? I want Shift 5. Yeah. Okay. So I've got this little picture-in-picture right here, just as a so we can see the discard board. Not everything is fully up to date to the current version, and the reason I say that is sometimes I do prototyping in a physical. Do I have it even? Did I bring it inside? I'll go get the physical and I'll show you guys that. There it is. 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 So I want to preface before I say go into anything that everything here is placeholders. Nothing is final. This is all for vibes. Some stuff I have legal but maybe not ethical rights to. Some stuff is fully made from me. And some of the stuff on here is um I didn't take it really from anywhere, but it is like, again, I think I don't have anything that's illegal. I have I can't say it outright because I don't know, but I'm pretty confident that I have legal rights to utilize, but not necessarily reproduce some of these things, because some of these things are AI generated. But it's just for prototyping. I intend to bring on board whenever I have a budget or someone that is in my budget, be able to get some custom arts and stuff. So, um, in the meantime, I have a lot of placeholder stuff that is AI generated. So, not my goal, but it's the only way I could get some people to be involved because they didn't like text on a blank background or whatever else. You know what I mean? So, like, people are fickle. Just gonna give that warning. So, a lot of this stuff is placeholder stuff. Um, but I don't believe I have violated anybody's ownership of anything because it's AI placeholder, or I've made it myself. Um, so I think there might be a few like clip art things like in the rule book right now, like these dice here. I didn't make those dice, so those are borrowed from somewhere. But I have been working on this game for so long. Unfortunately, I did not have the hindsight or the foresight to what's the word I want to look for? To God, I'm drawing a blank on the word. I didn't have the foresight to catalog where I got all these placeholder things from, so I do apologize if there does happen to be something that is not free domain for use. But a lot of this stuff I have either made myself or, as you can see here, is AI generated. So this is I have a rule book in here. Oh, some of these, I think it's like some of the clip art stuff is borrowed. Um, but like this is AI, this is AI, but this isn't, right? I don't remember if these cards were me or if I found them. I think I found this campfire symbol. So there's things like that. So I mean, if you count just volume, right? Like, yeah, like, um, but anyway, this is the rule book. Kind of goes into how the game is played, but I'm gonna run through so some of this stuff isn't even all the way up to date. Like I said, I do have a physical copy, which I will be showing off because a lot of the people that used to help me prototype on Tabletop Simulator. Oh, I guess I should probably type that in, huh? But that doesn't matter. Oh, I will change the category of my game though in Twitch. Edit. We're gonna change this. It's gonna be Tabletop Simulator right there. Done. So anyway, um, uh, I do have a physical copy because a lot of the people that used to help me prototype this, we've all gone on to have very different lives and very different schedules. So now I don't have really anybody to prototype with me. So a lot of my production of balancing and tweaking and stuff has come to a standstill. I've ended up making a physical copy because some people said they'd only play with me. They didn't want to get on a computer and play because they thought it was lame to get online, but aren't necessarily against video games or whatever else. I guess the concept of a virtual tabletop was just a little bit odd for them. Um, so I ended up making a physical copy. Um, it's also helped me sort of get a better vibe for the play because this has a lot of conveniences and a lot of inconveniences, right? Um, things that are really simple to do in real life um, can be a little challenging to do here, and things that are done here, I can just copy or duplicate or spawn or whatever else, are really hard to do in real life. So there's goods and bads. This allows me to prototype something. If I come up with an idea, I can just be like, boom, I'm prototyping that right now. So I'm gonna go through some of this physical copy stuff right now, and show. This is the most close to finished product, but again, it's utilizing some AI. The current running name for it is Beast of the Backwoods. So that's why it's called BoB here. It's gone through a couple different name changes. We're gonna start off by these tiles. See, I made these tiles. I printed them out. Here's all the forest tiles, which we'll go into. The clearing tiles. Right, here's the special tiles. Oh, there is something that's not implemented in this version of the game that is implemented in the physical version, but it's an optional rule, so it's not even that big of a deal because I'm not going to play with it here. But I had some people who were playtesting it who said that they really wanted to be able to spawn the monster and the monster to be on the board because I'm going to play without that rule, and you'll see why. But it's kind of hard to see. But on the edges of the tile, there are teal dots and red dots, and the red dots are odd numbers. The teal dots are even numbers, and you would roll a die. It would be very much like this, where it's got colored pips. The colors are just helping you differentiate, um, helping you differentiate quickly whether it's an even or an odd. And then it's got a blank side and a little teeth side, which we'll go into again. That's for the monster's movement. When the monster spawns, it moves that direction from the tile it's on. These are all extra pieces here. They aren't vital to playing the game. However, my other box is. So that's what these are. So I don't have that updated on here, for instance. I do have the characters updated. The characters were actually the most recent one, but it was an easy thing to bring the characters in because it's literally just a PNG that I just put on there. The die has a little bit more setup to do in this, so it's a little bit more um, labor intensive. I just put that back in the wrong baggie. That is fine. But as you can see, I've got like a. Oh gosh, come on! I can never open this thing when I want to. There it goes. So I've got the first monster. So the base game will come out with two monsters. The first monster is a Wendigo. This is not mine. It is edited by me, but this will not be in the final game. I don't believe it's in the digital version right now. But again, it's for people so they can go, oh look, there's the monster. It's kind of hard because I printed on translucent. but it's actually of somebody's representation of the creature of the rake, but it's a Wendigo in this case because I wanted to be a little bit. I wanted to fall somewhere between the cult interpretation of a Wendigo and the actual Wendigo. So I went with this person's interpretation of a rake. Um, but there is an attack deck on the front of on the face of the cards. There are like scenarios, and on the back of the cards there are what called nighttime encounters. Again, I'll go into that, but this is the Wendigo deck, so everything's sort of plug and play. I really wanted this game to be modular, where like I'm working on a monster to come out in the future, like after the game releases, but it's way on the back burner. I'm like here and there working on the DLC, as my buddies call it. So there's a Wendigo, there's a werewolf. Shoot. Here's the werewolf. Again, I want it to be like a little bit scary and unsettling. And um the werewolf one on the nighttime has moon phases, and on the monster tracker, you can there is each monster will have a unique monster tracker, a unique deck, um, and a unique play style. And what I mean by that is like there are certain universal rules that work for every monster, unless the monster overwrites those rules. So, like the werewolf rewrites rules about how when characters die and stuff like that. There's some rules rewritten there. The Wendigo, which is what I'll be playing on this stream, the Wendigo is uh, the default monster. Starts a little aggressive, gets pretty aggressive. Its aggression and behavior is kind of linear, um, and its encounters are relatively, I won't say plain, but they're the most straightforward. Right, the werewolf will have a few more odds and ends to it. Um, we'll go into this, but see, like there's physical dice that I've made, all that stuff for this game, and I'm slowly working my way down to what I actually want to show people. Oh, I had some tokens printed out. Um, these are actual printed tokens. Therefore, the tokens that I'll go over in the game, you'll see them later. I also had, oh, here's the player deck, but I also have the actual deck that you'll see in the virtual version is right here, just like everything else. The biggest thing that's different between the virtual version and the real version is the virtual version is going to use a tracker card like this, to where you'll have your monsters wrong side, monsters activity and the monster's behavior right below it, and this is how characters deaths impact it, and this is the monster's health or vitality. um it is This is a much better way of tracking it than how I have it in the virtual game. The virtual game, I tried to make one of these. It did not work out super well. That reminds me, I'm going to have to put the monster's health on one of the default counters on this. But now we get to the part of the physical game that is more about vibes. So I have physical player boards that I had a friend of mine who has a laser table cut out for me. They are recessed so that all the dice and whatnot fits inside of it. Works exactly the same way that you see it in the game. I did make a few tweaks from what you see in the thing, but overall it functions the same way. And I also had him cut me out what are called discovery tokens. I put stickers on the back of them. Originally, I tried my method that I used for the tiles. It didn't work out well, which is taking um, custom T-shirt printouts and melting them on. That worked pretty well for the tiles, but it did not work well for these guys. So I ended up just putting their respective stickers on the back, but they are little wood tokens. The printout tokens that I have came in too small. I do like the resource and whatnot tokens being that size, but I felt like these are called discovery tokens needed to be a little larger, as well as what are known as tracker tokens right here, which one side it's a flower with one side saying 2 and the other side saying 1. and we'll get into those mechanics as I break into the gameplay. This is a game that can be played 1 to 5 players, though someone I played with, um, someone who's not actually it was a group of people who are not as familiar with board games, suggested that I make a version where you can just add as many players as you want, but I need to figure out how to scale that difficulty for the monster. As of right now, the only way that difficulty scales is that per player, the monster gets, what is it, like 5 hit points per player or something. But it becomes out ridiculous when you have more than 4 players, right? So because the monster goes from 10 plus 5 per player, which is 15 for 1 player, um, and whatnot. I think there should be a scale, like 1 to 2 players it gets this, and 2 to 4. I mean 3 to 4, and 5 to 6, if that was going to be the case. Have a because it having that much health is it literally just becomes, how long is it going to take us to lose? Because one thing that I'm trying to tighten up with this is the pacing. Um, when I am playing this more consistently, I can usually run a solitaire game in about 30 to 45 minutes, and that's pretty consistent across however many players you add. But when you add players who don't know how to play, things slow down. So, um, I'd say it's about an hour runtime to play the gameplay loop. Let's get these back in here. I think that's gonna work. It's a bit of a tight fit in this box. So the monster we'll be fighting tonight or hunting tonight is the Wendigo. Me and a friend, and ironically, the friend who started making this game with me doesn't want to ever play it. I try and get him to play it all the time, and he just straight up refuses. Or I should say he dodges it, not refuses. He dodges it all the time. And which is kind of funny because we started together. We did go our separate ways, not as friends, but on this project, because we had differing opinions on how to handle things. I wanted to try and make. There are complexities to this game. I'd say out of a scale of 1 to 10, this game is probably like a 7 on the complexity. I don't know if I've played enough board games to fairly make that ruling, but that's where I would put it. And he wanted to make it initially, when we were originally talking about it, probably year 1. I wanted to try and make it as simple as possible, and he's all like, "Oh no, we should do this." I ended up sort of agreeing with him after he left the project. Maybe that's why he doesn't want to play. Um, the I originally wanted just one resource, right? Like food, uh, everything, just to be one resource. Just, hey, this is your pool of resources. But as it went on, it balanced much better by separating them out, and I've kept it at 3. Though I do have a few ideas for future monsters where that complexity goes up. So, um, we have 6 characters in the game. I have them on these states here, and this is just a representation of the character. In the physical version, I have little translucent standees, kind of like the monsters are, that are the character. Um, Again, stand-ins for the standees. But so you have, let me flip this so we've got Dr. Housen. I'll just mouse over and I'll do a blow up. So there's this. This is a little blurb. Again, this is from player feedback. They're like, I want to know kind of who this person is, rather than just you telling me every time. So this is her starting stats. She's got low health, low action economy, because there is a second version of action economy which utilizes knowledge. And so she starts with the highest amount of knowledge, and she gets knowledge all the time. So there is Dr. Housen, and then we'll just go through them. We've got Kevin Doritz. He was the last character that I made for the base game. Then we've got Deputy Dave Roberts. Then we got Carl Smith. Again, all this is stand-in, uh, just temporary stuff. So livestock. There's James Bowman. He's a ranch hand. Um, and then Frank Penders, who is that. So then we'll flip it over and I'll show you like this is their stats. Not their stats, but this is their abilities and stuff. Um, they'll have nicknames, and that's just for like I guess convenience. Just felt like not fun, but it felt it's weird to say, but it felt cozy to just give them um, a nickname, you know. Because originally that's what we called them. We called Dr. House, and we called her the scientist, the doctor, which, you know, before she had a name. And we called this guy the cop, but I was like, well, they're out in the middle of nowhere. It's not going to be a cop. It's going to be a sheriff or a deputy. And I thought a sheriff might have too many resources available to him. So a deputy who's a young man who wants to not make a name for himself, but he has a hard sense of justice, and he really wants to do right by a person, the missing person that sort of triggered this whole investigation. I started making this game 3 or 5 years ago. I honestly don't remember. Life kind of melds together. But anyway, so um, as a matter of fact, when we first started off, uh, doc was originally a little like vile. Only recently, like I changed her to a book because I'm like, why would she be a vial? She's not a chemist. Yes, she's a biologist, but you know. So in this game, I kind of flipped a coin and I chose to be the old man. The game starts off, you choose your character, you collect their corpse card. It's relevant mostly for multiplayer, the corpse cards. So in single player, the corpse card doesn't really matter. Um, any player that's not any character that's not playing, you can add their corpse. Oh shoot, you can add their corpse to the player deck. Um, which, as you can see, this one's a little bit lower quality of image, but like it gives you a little blurb because these are called discovery cards. It's something you've discovered on your your exploration and hunt of the monster. So this is what happens to her, and then this is what happened to her, right? Though she often baffled you with her ramblings, that didn't mean you didn't enjoy her going on about her passions. And then so you lose 2 health, you gain 2 sensor tokens, and you shuffle the lost pile into the draw deck. So this has been at least updated since I added the lost pile, um, and then you gain 5 knowledge. So um, I might need to update her just because the knowledge system has changed a little bit. So we'll probably need to refine that. Anyway, so I'm playing as the old man. He starts off with 8 hit points, vitality. Vitality is both your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Um, starts off with 2 food, 2 ammo, 4 stamina, 2 materials, and 2 knowledge. Um, so I'll get to the gameplay loop because this is all just explaining what the cards do. So here's the gameplay loop. Whoop. Um, Here, we'll actually just kind of run through this really quick. So these are the relevant symbols. So, okay, so when something says recover, that means you move up closer to the max, whatever the max is for that particular value. Your starting stats are your max unless something changes it. So if you recover, so with Dr. Housen, she only has 7 vitality. If she um, if she goes down to 6 vitality and she recovers 3 hit points, she would go just back up to 7. Gain means to increase. So when you gain, so it says gain 5 health. That means you could go up past that. You could go up past her max. That isn't your new max. You've just gained that much. But whatever you're using to track that material. So if it says uh, gain 4 ammo, and you already have 4 ammo, you only have 1 tracker that goes up to 5. You'd only gain up to 1. unless you had another thing that could hold ammo, or you have another way of collecting that ammo, and in which case then it would carry over. Um, spend, same kind of thing. You spend that, you reduce the temporary, right? Discard means to get rid of it entirely, or remove or discard means to get rid of it entirely. Or means obviously there's a choice. If you see a pound sign, the pound sign means it's a factor set by an outside thing, typically by whatever the monster's behavior is. And then if it shows an in, it means it's a choice, the player choice. Um, Stamina, magnifying glass is knowledge, hammer means build, campfire means you can recover hit points. Um, I think I'm just gonna try and talk through without, but not over explain. That symbol, the card symbols means you can draw, and the die symbol means that you'll roll a die most of the time. You have food tokens, which represent how much food you have. You track them on a green die. Brown tokens are material tokens. They represent how much materials you have to do stuff with: baling wire, nails, actual wood. Um, and yellow are ammo, and as you can see, the counters down there represent those. They represent a stack of them and how many you can carry of that particular item. You have teal tokens, which are trap tokens, which I'll go into. They're ways of getting food, but also trapping that you can use them on the creature to trap the creature. Red tokens are sensor tokens. They give you information about your surroundings, whether there's animals walking by that you can like track or whatever else, or whether the monsters come by. You have discovery tokens, which are relatively new, but not super new. They give you free stuff. Um, See, you can kind of see where there's a thing just below the attack token. That attack token just below it is a red 3. The knowledge used to be tracked on a die, but someone suggested to me that I change it from that, as it's not a resource. And so they were confused about, well, it says I can change out a resource die or a resource tracker. So it's sort of its own standalone resource. Anyway, this is how tracker tokens work. If it's got a 1, um, so we're looking at the top right here, the top 2. The bottom 2 is for hunting grounds. The top 2 is for trackers. If it's got a 1, it means that the adjacent tile. If it's got a 2, it means only the ring outside of the adjacent tiles. So it's 2 away. I ended up saying within 2, but that's kind of a misnomer. Like it's a place of within 2 tracker. Each one of these tiles represents like 5, maybe 10 miles. So it's like each one of these hexes. When you lay it out end to end, I believe you can go like 4 to 4. So that's 20, 40, 45 miles from end to end of the play space, kind of. Um, this just goes into defining what the stuff is. These are the standard tiles. You've got clearing and forest tiles. These are your standard tiles. You can use those at any time. And then you have special tiles, which give you special little things on them. Little symbols represent the kind of things that you can collect on them. If something is to reward you with a draw, you would, with clearing, for instance, you would draw or play. If something says you can play a card, if something says you can draw a card, then no matter what it is, you get a plus to whatever that is. A +1 to draw, +1 to play. The food symbol on there, if the food symbol is there and you get a food, you get a food +1. If you get 2 food, you get 2 food +1. So it's always just a +1 basically. So when as you can see on these special ones, the shack has 2 cards, which means that it's now, when you would draw and play a card or whatever else, you now draw plus and then +2. So it's 1 +2 or play +2. And the mine shows 2 wood. In that instance, for the mine, when you'd get a material, you'd get 2 material, additional material. You get 3 total material. Blah 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 blah. No special players can use a play action on them without being from a discovery token. So discovery token, when you flip that little, when you have the discovery token that has a little play symbol on it, it means you get to draw and play 1 card for free without it being an action or anything like that. So You can only play play cards with a discovery token, or when a tracker token points to that special tile. When a tracker token points to any tile, you basically you can put down a new free discovery token, or you can take a free action by discarding that tracker token. Um, this is just the player board. That's how that works. That's how the cards work, which I'll go over. This is your encounter cards. That's the front and the back. I skipped over this. So the game goes: choose a creature, apply the creature's health, choose a character, set up a character's inventory, place starting tile trackers, and draw 3 cards per player. Then you choose who goes first. Starting player checks the encounter trigger and resolves it. So the very first thing that happens is, and I'll go over that, is that you'll see if an encounter happens to you. And then your players take actions until their stamina or past their turn, but the turn doesn't end until all your stamina is gone. When a player runs out of stamina, they can make a free discard action. At the end of the round, all players are out of stamina. You check the campsite because people doing shit in the campsite pisses the monster off. And then you move to the night phase. And then the night phase, you so it says players occupying the campsite add 1 to the night counter, and then damage is done to them instead is done to the campsite. And then players not occupying the campsite spend 1 food. If they don't have any food, they lose 2 health, and then they spend 1. And then they can spend spend 1 material to recover 1 health. And you draw an encounter card. You resolve all the effects. Blah 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 blah. This is the actual playing of the game. So right now it says 3. 3 is a little on the weak side because it only adds 12 hit points with 4 players. So I've been doing 5, but it might be that for 1 and 2 players, it's 3 per player. Just because it can be kind of brutal. I am going to go with 15 hit points this time, which reminds me I do need to spawn in a tool because that's what we need. Oh my goodness, there we go. So I need to toggle off snap and grid. So we're going to give it 15 hit points. Oops. First, okay. So I know I should have done this earlier. I apologize. I wasn't thinking. So first we're gonna get it to go flat. There we go. Then we're gonna lock it. Then we're gonna grab my tool here. We're gonna move it. Well, let me get this out of the way real quick so I can then move this because it's in the way. Boop. I don't know if that's right where it's supposed to go. It might not line up correctly like I want it to. Okay, we're gonna go like that, and then we're gonna put its health at 15. Nope, 15. There we go. You can play as the monster, so it's 4 players with 1 monster. Which, that's how it's 5 players. Anyway, here's a little representation of the Wendigo. Not the one I really want, but it was the best one I could find. I would prefer something along the lines of an emaciated human being, but this one is the creepiest one I could find, so that's why I got it. Again, we're not playing with that, so this guy's just gonna get hucked out into the universe. So we got 15 hit points, 3 cards, blah blah blah. Draw your 3 cards. It used to be that there's a die. Now it's tracked by little, like little pieces, like the little cubes. Just because it helps keep track of it. On here, it is just represented by 8 hit points and the night counter. So, character actions, blah 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 blah. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So these are just like special rules that I feel like people might forget. And then As mentioned earlier, capturing the creature is done by coordinating 2 tracker tokens and trap token. So to win, you either need to capture the creature or kill the creature, which just brings both of its hit points down to 0. You do it with a trap token, you capture it, which will come into a stuff I'm working on later for the game. So second objective is not to lose. If you run out of tiles, the monster escapes, or if you die, you die. So don't die. Keep the monster from escaping. Make sure this is shuffled. I have no audio for some reason. Oh, because I never switched it over to my headset. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. This red box is for if somebody is playing as the monster, so you can't see the monster's hand and the monster can't see your hand. The reason why is that players are allowed to look at each other's hands. It's a cooperative game, so if someone's playing as the monster, you don't want them knowing what you have, and the monster doesn't want to know what you have. So anyway, got all that set up. Let's flip this. Now I'm just going to refresh my memory on what he can do since I have updated the character since the last time I really played. Okay. I may have 4 trap tokens. So, okay. I start with a trap token. There's my trap token. Okay. So let me show you how our usual turn works. So what's going to happen is we're going to, first thing is we check the encounter. It has 2 activity. You need 10 activity to trigger the monster. I'm going this. See? Some more up at the top. Oh, discard trigger before drawing an encounter card from the discard trigger. Then remove all. Oh, that's one above it. Value of 10. Unless it says otherwise, value is 10. So 2 plus 0 is 2. So we're good. So then what we do is we kind of take a look at what we got. So very first action we're going to do is going to take 1 action to place a tile. We're going to place a clearing tile. That's 1 action, and there's another action to move. We're going to move. Oh, excuse me. So first off, that's a bit of a misnomer. I just get used to playing this game. So the first action is to place that tile. As soon as that tile gets placed, you put a discovery token on that tile. So if I don't end up going here, so let's say I take my second action is actually to place another tile, right? It has to be adjacent to you. Placed another tile. So now the first time you step onto a tile, when you step onto a tile, it has a discovery token, right? So that's, so I placed, moved. So this flips over and I get whatever it is. So it's a card. So it's draw 2, play 2. So, I have 2 food. Okay on knowledge. So we're going to go with this one because we're going to get twice the amount of food. So we'll play this one. This goes into the discard. That'll give me 2 food. Boom, boom. And that's a free play. I can do another one. You know what? I will build myself because build counts as a play. Where is it? It's build, play, discard right there. So now I have a hunting rifle. I spend 1 ammo to gain 1 food if I want. That's an action I get. But when I spend 1 ammo, I do 2 damage. Okay, so we've done that. Now I get 1 more. So it was place, move, and then I'll move again. Flip this one. Hey, look, we get a draw 2 and play 2. This is why it's good to explore. trap token, a trap card, and this. So I will play this and get this. These will get discarded. Um, so in this case, I got an extra one that I can't carry. A tile can only carry one token. So this cannot get a discovery token without discarding this food token. But while I'm on this, that counts. I can have access to any token that's on my field. I can utilize any token that's on my field, including the ones in my possession, because this is just a stack of 2 and this is a stack of 5. So if there's another player on my tile, and they have food, I have access to that. Now you can't just steal their food, though that would be maybe an interesting what's the word I'm looking for? Interesting, like, competitive version of the game, which I have some people saying they want a more competitive version of the game. Where I have access to that. So like if I had no food and somebody else had 3 food, he could minus 2 food at the nighttime requirement, which is kind of where we're at because we just moved again. So first thing we do, we check to see if anybody's on the starting tile. Nobody's on the starting tile, so then we move on. Minus 1 food. I will go ahead and minus this token so I have a full inventory. And then we will move on to the actual nighttime phase. So make sure this is randomized. So there are some spelling errors because a lot of this stuff has been done at 2 a.m. after a long day at work. So I have not gone through and fixed everything. Again, this is all placeholder, so I do apologize. That is a critique that some of my more, how do I say it, like more abrasive friends have given me guff about is my spelling and or grammar. But so I'd recover 2 hit points, but I don't need to recover 2 hit points because I'm already at max. So this card basically means nothing. So at that point, I would recover on mine, and it's the start of the new day. So I can take another action. So I can now take a whole new set of actions. Playing solo is not quite as fun as even playing with just one other person, but I mean, it is a game you can play solo. So I want some materials so I can maybe start building something. So I'm going to go ahead and place that. So that is 1 action, and then I'm going to move on to it, which is 2 actions. So 1, 2. This flips over, and I get to draw 1 card and play 1 card. So now I will play this card. It's going to give me 1 knowledge, and it's going to allow me to roll a material die and add it. That's what that little plus means. It means roll your material die, or roll a die and add it to whatever you have already. So we're going to go ahead and roll this guy. So 3 plus 0 is 3. So this is now done. Now this gets discarded here. Every time a card gets played, you check the discard value. It's 2 plus 4. So we're at 6. So we're still okay. We do have to start making maybe some actions against the monster. In single player, there isn't as much pressure to fight the monster, but it's like that's the whole point of the game, right? Is to kill the monster. So I do have a weapon. I do have means of hurting it. So what I could do is right now it's at 6. I could spend 4 knowledge, except for I don't have 4 knowledge, to adjust this. Because what I can do is, let's say this 2 here, I can minus 2 knowledge to get this into the lost pile. But it doesn't need it. This is the lost pile. That's where everything goes after it's gone through the discard pile. I can't have an encounter with the monster yet. But if we look at what my special ability is, it has my scent, a hunting grounds token. So if I can get a hunting ground token played, which is basically just a tracker token that is a tracker token that benefits the monster's behavior. A tracker token benefits the player's behavior. It just uses the same token and is the same token. This would give me 3 knowledge. So instead of blowing that, what I'll do is I will spend 3 knowledge. Is it 3? Sorry, I gotta look this up. Yeah, spend 3 knowledge. Beep, beep, boop. To place any tile adjacent to where I am. So I can go through these special tiles now, and I can place one of these to benefit me. I think I'll do the shack. The shack is really good. So I'll do that, and it gets a discovery token. That doesn't cost me any stamina. That is an action that I used my knowledge, which is why I was saying Dr. Housen is actually really beneficial because she can get knowledge all the time. Just all the time for all kinds of stuff. So she can just boop 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 and be able to play stuff that way. So she gets she only has 3 stamina, but if you play it right, every single turn she can place a tile using her knowledge. So, and she can place any tile she wants. She's not restricted. So she can go off and find the shack and find the pond and find the den and yada yada yada. So now I'm going to move with another action onto this tile, and we're going to resolve this. Yo, draw 3, play 3. See, this is why it's good. It's really good. So draw 3. At the end of my turn, I have to have the bandolier. I have to have 5 cards in my turn in my hand. So play 3. So I'm gonna build this. It's gonna be one of my things. I will play this as well. So that's gonna give me one of these guys. Remember, every tile can only have 1 token on it. So now this is the only token that can be on this tile. So I get 1 knowledge. Let's read it off. No doubt about it, the creature came through here. Broken branches and partial prints are all over the place. You can tell how you can't tell how recently though. Now this gets discarded. So now we've got 5 in the discard. Plus 2. That's 7. And if we look at where we're at with the thing, it has my scent while you're in a hunting grounds. Add the closest tracker token. So 7, 8, 9, and I can spend this 1 knowledge to now trigger the monster. At any time I can remove value. If I remove value, I discard. So if there's only 2s up here, I have to have 2 knowledge to get rid of all those 2 cards. I could spend that 1 to get rid of this to extend my time, but right now I'm trying to have an encounter with the creature. So I'm going to spend the 1 to trigger this. That's going to trigger the monster. This all goes over here. And now we're going to flip one of these guys. It says, as you try to navigate thick fog, this is a good mental one. Like this is affecting your mental health. As you try and navigate thick fog that seemed to roll in from nowhere, you are frozen in your tracks. Ahead of you is a silhouette of an emaciated figure. It turns and faces you. It disappears in the thickening fog. Increase the monster's activity by 1 and take 1 damage. So, does this one have it? No. I'm going to flip a card. Sorry, I lose 1 hit point. And to show you something. Okay, so I'll shuffle this one back in. But you see that little crossed sword? That means I can attack. On this last one, there's no crossed sword, which means I didn't have a chance to attack. In this case, I was probably like frozen with fear. And so I didn't even think to raise my gun to shoot at the creature. I'm currently working on, again, this is like not even the full release version. So a friend of mine had a good idea about building maybe some optional objectives, and one of the optional objectives will give you the ability to make an attack regardless. Like anytime you have an encounter, you are able to make an attack. But you have to meet a requirement to get to that place. So this one's going to get shuffled back in. So I lost 1 hit point. So that's another risk though. Is like I tried to do that, but now I don't get to. Like I wanted to make an attack on it. Instead, I just took damage. So it's a high risk, high reward kind of a thing. Anyway, so I still have an action. So instead, I'm going to pad my next turn by doing this. And this will be my action. So that's that. Now nighttime, we check the thing. There's nothing here. Um, so here, what you do is if there's anybody on the campsite, let's say I was there, you take the discard value, you add the monster's aggression or activity level, and then you add the knights on there. And if it equals 10, before the night phase triggers, you would trigger an encounter. So that is not the case though, but that's why I keep stopping and looking there. Anyway, so hold up, I gotta ban this bot. What was I saying? Where was it? Where was I at? What was I saying? What was I doing? Nighttime, checking that. That doesn't matter. Blah blah blah. Nighttime phase. Oh, minus that. So on the forest tiles, when I were to recover hit points, so you know how I can spend one material to recover one vitality at night after I spend my food. Um, if I were to do that on a forest tile, I get +1 hit points. So for one material, I get 2 hit points. So it sort of counteracts um, you losing hit points from food. So if you're low on food, like clearings will give you more opportunity for food. But if you're out of food, being in a forest will keep you from dying. Um, and then this card, if I played this card, for instance, on a forest tile, I would get +1 to my hit points. Anyway, nope, that's not what I wanted. So we minus the 1 food, blah blah blah. Nighttime encounter, right? Let's make sure this is shuffled. Recover 2 vitality. The nighttime ones are a little flat. I think there's like 4 different, or no, like 5 different kinds of nighttime encounters. But oh, I did increase it. Okay. I'm rambling. That's what I'm good at. Good at rambling. Anyway, that's the end of the night phase. Recover my stamina. We will now be on the move. On the move. All right, so right now I'm at a static 5 because I'm in a hunting grounds of 2. And there's 3 on the thing, so 5. So I'm gonna move 1. That's gonna flip this, which is gonna let me draw 2, play 2. Ooh, hiking boots. Hey, that's pretty good. Increase your stamina by 1. I don't know if you just take immediate effect, but so that's 1 of 2 plays. I'll play this. Let me discard. Oh, that's right. I routed that to be better. So it used to be that it was an equipped card, but now it can just be any card. So I can discard this to get a trap token. So anyway, let me get this. That's a trap token right there for me. Now, usually most players can only have 2 trap tokens at most. As long as I don't have any other tokens, I can have more than 2. Okay. So now it's another move. I will going to let's go a little bit into the woods. Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. So that's 1. Then 2. Yo! Dope. 2 material. And then I will play this guy. It gives me 1 knowledge. And I get to roll this. So 2 plus 2, that gives me 4. So now I'm at 9. I'm going to try it again because I'm at 9. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to do it again. Boop. So as you have other people playing, it can get kind of tense. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, you managed to squeeze yourself into a crack into a cluster of rocks. After clawing at you nearly 2 hours, the creature didn't want to give up. Most of the day is gone. You'll have to rest soon. Increase the monster's activity by 2. If you have any stamina, reduce it to 1. It is at 1. I take 1 damage. So it's always like left to right stuff. So it's top to bottom, left to right. So I always do the damage first, and then I do my damage. So do I want to do my damage? I do have a means of getting more ammo, so yes, I will, because as you can see, this one is at a -1 damage. So I'll only do 1 damage for 1 bullet, so I will do that. Come on, there we go. And so I will take that somewhat loss, but at least I'm making progress on it. Okay. I can make another action. Um, I'll do this one. So I will use my last one to play this. This will say you stop to examine what you imagine must be a thoroughfare for the creature. The tracks cross every which way, but you can make out one which is the most recent. So I put this. Also, the amount of tracker tokens you can have is players +1. So this is the most tracker tokens I can have playing solo. That's the only really sort of difficult part about playing single player. This game will pick up really fast because now he's at 5 activities, really at 7 because now I'm in tracker token area. So these I just have. I don't have a version for them in my physical game, but these are just to sort of represent how this works. So this is 1, 2, and 1, 2, right? It could also potentially be there, but that's kind of off the board game, so so I'm not really gonna mess with all that. Anyway, so there you have it. That is where the monster can be. And so moving on to that space, if I have a trap token on there, I automatically do a flat amount of damage. I can't remember what the damage is. Let me look it up. Trap token. That's place. Is it under special rules? Trap token. If it's done this with a trap token, the creature loses 3 vitality. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it loses 3 hit points. Is there anything special with the Wendigo? 2 and 7 starts at 2. Activity increases. Take 3 of them. Yeah, so its activity will go down by 1. And it will take 3 damage. So that's the reason that I'd want to do that. That is my last thing for the turn. So now we check that. Nothing there. So then we'll -1 food. We're in a forest, so I am going to minus that to get my 2 hit points back. Then we will draw my end encounter card. Oh well. Safety. Anyway, so now we'll reset this. Boop, 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 boop. Now we've got that. Now it's start my turn. So we will place 1 here. That's 1 action, and then I will move on to it. That's another action. What do we get? Ooh, okay. So this default version of this is that I draw and resolve an encounter card, which is exactly what we're gonna do. Um, there's two other ways it can be played. Um, one alternative rule is it increases the monster's activity. Uh, a little less aggressive version of the chip, and the one where you spawn the monster, that would then spawn the monster on top of you. You would still resolve an encounter card, but then the monster would start taking its turns based off of its activity. So we will, in this one, we're playing the basic version, so we're just going to draw and resolve an encounter card. Guess your gut was right about running into the creature. You both notice each other at the same time. Neither of you seem ready for the other. Roll above the monster's activity. Player loses vitality equal to the monster's activity. Deal damage equal to the rolled value. Below the monster's activity, player loses the equal to the value and deal. Hold up. Player loses vitality equal to the monster's activity. Deal damage equal to the rolled value. Below the monster's activity, player loses vitality equal to the rolled value. Um, deal damage equal to the rolled value. So in this case, I'm probably going to roll below it. So I'm just going to take one of their dice and roll one of these imaginary players' dice, and we're going to roll it. That doesn't seem very fair. Let's roll it again. Sure. So I rolled below. So I do both 4 damage to it. I also, from the way that card reads, I do 4 damage to player loses value equal to the rolled value. Yep, so I also lose 4. That's half of my hit points. It took more than 3 damage in an encounter, so its activity goes up. See, now it's sitting at 8. Oh, I am inside of this, so 10. So this will get discarded. As soon as we've done resolving this card, we will have another encounter. So this goes over here. Boop. Now that is resolved. I didn't get to attack it. So we will now draw and resolve another encounter card. As you can see, it can kind of start stacking very quickly. Ugh. You sit and prod at a fire after your meal, gazing deep into the dancing embers. The next thing you know, you are rolling around trying to put yourself out after being pushed into the fire. Lose 3 hit points. 1, 2, 3. I'm at 1 hit point. Awesome. I gain 1 knowledge. And then I will do 2 damage to it. Alrighty. I need to book it back somewhere. Okay. Oof. So I'm going to play a special rule here. As you'll see, I'm not cheating because I'm going to prove that I'm not cheating. It's one of the very first actions that. Oh, is it? No, it's at the bottom of this. It's here. Eat. So I'm going to eat twice. And I think I changed it to where. Oh, two. Yeah, 2 per turn. So 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to be able to make it back. Oh, my stamina should have been at 5 because of the hiking boots. Still don't make it back in time. I will take an action to place a forest here. I will then move on to the forest. Boop. Flip this. Oh, okay, good. Draw 1, play 1. Draw 1, play 1. I will play this, which will give me 2 hit points back. 1, 2. Kind of a big brain move here. I am then going to choose to play this one so that I can play this. It will trigger an encounter. Hold up, will it? Yeah. 6. Yeah, no matter what, it'll trigger an encounter. I will take the knowledge. I will place it within 1 because now it only gives me plus. Oh, sorry. This needs to turn into a +1. Now, as long as I'm within 1 of this, I'll only have +1 to this. But this does discard, which triggers the encounter. Ooh, man. Come on, let me live. I got 3 hit points. Oh, no. I think I just lost. You push. I do get to do damage, half of my damage to it, but I die. I'm pretty sure I'll die. I just die. Uh, 1, 2, 3 hit points right there. Boom, I'm dead. I've also got no ammo, so I can't do any damage. I just die, and there it is. 45 minutes, right? I mean, I know the stream cut out once, but I think it was at like 50-ish minutes, but that was with explanations and everything. So 30, 45 minutes, like I said, for one person playing. I tried to have too many encounters with it. I think I should have had. So there are some options I could have made. I could have stuck around. I went too far away from camp. Camp protects you. It gives you extra free stuff. There is one of these cards has the campsite actions on it. There it is. So I can recover 3 health. I can gain an ammo. Right. I can only do actions on this besides leaving. So yeah, it's. I went too far away from camp. I played it. I should have utilized probably my traps more. My traps give me 3 food. I was actually trying to do that by coming to this space here, but I just didn't expect. I guess the smart thing actually would have been to play a trap token, trigger that, because that would have then reduced. That would have reduced the, what's the word I'm looking for? Would have reduced the activity not only by that, but also gotten rid of the tokens, which would reduce my personal activity as this character. So I did like the pacing a lot better. So the thing I did to change the pacing since the last time I played was I changed the ratio inside the deck. So I changed the ratio of equipment and discoveries inside the deck because this used to be. How big was the deck? Oh, I can just load up a previous version of the game. So let's load up a previous version. So I think this was the most recent previous version. So yes, this does look correct. So there's this is this, this is this, and this is this. So 45 and 45 is 90. And then now it's down to, I think it's like 50 something. Oh, and then this, I think it's like 51. So I cut it almost in half, right? What's 51 over? It's only 51 because of the notebook. The notebook is a starting item for. So the hunter, he used to get a starting weapon of a bow, but now he gets a starting weapon of a rifle. He So if you minus all the starting weapons, that's 3 from 51, so 50, 48. So 48 over 90. I cut it down by 47%, which did help the pacing a lot. It used to be how do I put it? Like it used to be a little grindy. Like I mean, I wanted it to, in some ways, to feel that way, but I don't feel like it doesn't feel that way anymore. So, um, that's good, right? Like, that pacing felt a lot better. One of the other things that this is the last update I did was I changed the thing. It used to be that the Wendigo went from 0 to 8. So the fact that he starts off at 2, he's already a little aggressive. He's already a little mean. So that's good. That makes me happy. Even though I lost, that pacing was a lot better. I know it didn't from an outside perspective that might not seem great, but I mean, I didn't feel like I was playing it all that long. I guess I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I've been so close to it. It's like trying to see the forest past the trees, you know? Like I'm so close to it. It's hard for me to say because I've seen where it used to be at, and it's so much closer to where I want it to be, but I don't know if it's where it needs to be yet. You know, like it's hard for me to tell. Anyway, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to play this once on stream, at least once on stream, because I ain't got nobody, I ain't got nobody anymore to play test this with me. So I will eventually find some people to do that with me. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's all right. No, it's fine. Anyway, that's all I got.